All right, my colleague Mbalenhle Mthethwa remains there for us. And I think I did see on our visuals a few moments ago the US President, Donald Trump. My colleagues will tell me if we're going there next. In fact, tensions, I do understand, escalating in the Middle East after the United States of America and Israel launched attacks on Iran. The attacks were directed at Tehran and have caused huge damage. Let's go to SABC News specialist correspondent Sophie Mokoena, who is on the line for us. Sophie, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Talk to us about where we are at this stage and the impact of the attacks thus far.
Well, the impact is massive. You'd recall that last year there were similar attacks somewhere in June, but the Iranian authority was able to manage that situation. The attacks were not so detrimental, but this time around it is clear that this is an operation, a joint operation between the United States of America and Israel, and the attacks are massive in Tehran, the capital city. You know that President Trump in the recent time has been talking about the possibility of attacking Iran. He has issued a statement, a video, a recorded message that they have launched attacks and they will continue to do that, and Iran will never have a nuclear weapon again. In other words, they are really attacking Iran to ensure that its nuclear capability is destabilized, as we know that Iran has that capability, and therefore we expect these attacks to intensify today, and we don't know what's going to happen. But this time around, the world is watching a war unfolding in the Middle East. It is Iran against United States of America and Israel.
Ma'am Sophie, I'm hearing reports that we're not only hearing of some of these blasts in Tehran, but also in areas such as Isfahan. Has there been any official statement from the Iranian government over the attack at this stage? What do we know?
The Iranian authority had indicated that they will retaliate should Iran be attacked. And therefore, we are waiting to see how is Iran going to respond, or whether it will be able to respond. Because you would recall that in the past few weeks, there have been protests inside Iran by Iranians who are opposed to the current regime. And therefore, the regime is focused on trying to manage that situation, while the regime was fully aware that these attacks were imminent, because the United States of America didn't hide the fact that if Iran is not willing to come to the negotiations on the issue of the nuclear capability, they will attack Iran. And we saw those military capabilities from the United States of America, both on air, including the sea, sailing towards the Gulf region. And this was expected. And therefore, it is going to be a long day in terms of these attacks, because clearly this time around it is going to be a massive attack on Iran, and it's not clear whether Iran's capability will be able to intercept some of these attacks.
I know this is still unfolding before the world as we speak, Ma'am Sophie, but I'm also hearing about some of these strikes on one of the most important airports, which I do understand to be closer to the presidential palace. Do we know anything about this? Is there any reports at the stage of the number of people who have been injured? I do understand there are many evacuations that are also taking place towards nearby hospitals.
There are many people who have suffered due to these attacks, but it's not clear how many have been killed, because it is happening now. It started few hours ago, and therefore it's very difficult to get information, and also communication at this moment will be interrupted, and therefore it will be difficult to get numbers at this juncture. But later they will release a statement, either the Iranian authority, if they still have the capability in terms of communication, or the forces that are attacking Iran, they will also communicate, as we saw President Trump recording that 8-minute message explaining what's happening, where to from here, which I think at around 11 you would have processed that clip so that we can get a sense of the magnitude of this attack. This time around, we saw the neighboring countries already requesting people to go under bunker in Qatar, the military base of the United States of America, Americans in Qatar being warned to go to safe places. And therefore, the entire region, that whole Gulf region, neighbors of Iran, as we speak, they are on high alert.
Ma'am Sophie, you spoke about the attacks and particular places in particular where we saw these airstrikes take place, of course being beamed on world media, but it seems there seems to be an attack on critical infrastructure from some of the reports that we are seeing. What do we know about that? As I indicated in my previous question, there are also reports about strikes towards the presidential palace. We're also talking about critical infrastructure which is under attack at this stage.
It was clear that the military sites will be targeted, but secondly, the nuclear program sites will be attacked and will be targeted by America and Israel. As I pointed out in the recorded message, President Trump is emphasizing the fact that they want to ensure that this time around, Iran doesn't have any nuclear capability, and it cannot build a nuclear weapon or any nuclear-related military capability in the Middle East. And therefore, this message tells us that this time around, it's not a mild warning attack to say back off. It is the intention to dismantle Iran's nuclear capability. You spoke about targeting of areas near the presidential palace. It's clear that we saw what happened when Maduro was taken out of his country in Venezuela, that they will also be targeting the leadership of Iran. And it's no surprise that they would want to attack the presidential palace. And therefore, they will really go for the military leadership and also the regime itself, because they would want to, this time around, make sure that whatever action has been launched, it does have impact. When you listen to what President Trump is saying, it's quite a chilling message. And I think the fear will be the whole region in general in the Middle East is going to be affected. You will see the oil price is going to go up. There'll be disruption in terms of supply, because that whole Gulf region is going to be affected. The movement of goods and people is going to be affected. The airports are going to be closed. The airspace is going to be closed in the Middle East. And therefore, there's going to be a massive economic, military, and social disruption.
Sophie Mokoena, thank you very much.